We're now going to practice the D major arpeggio a few times. Whether you're playing an exercise or a piece, music must always have rhythm. So for that reason, I'm going to put on a metronome, and I'm going to put it on 60 for every beat. And we're going to do 4 beats for each note, and we're going to do that a few times. Remember to listen to see if your third finger is ringing. In fact, the first time I do it, I'll stop and we'll check a few things so you can see if you're on the right track. So I'm setting my metronome to 60. Metronome like this is an old Korg metronome. You can also use something like this, which is an analog metronome, except mine doesn't work well because it fell off the piano one day. It was a sad day. And you can also get a metronome app for your phone. So this beat is my beat. So we're going to do 4 of these for every note, but we're going to stop the first time to check a few things. So what we want to do while we're going slowly, in slow practice, you want to take the time that you have to be very aware of everything that you're doing. So you want to be aware of the feeling of the hair on the string, where the contact point is. Are you going over the fingerboard? How flat is your hair? Are you rolling towards you? We don't want to roll towards, we want to roll away or be flat. And where are the fingers falling? Are we in tune? And we want to make sure that we get a nice ringing note at the top. Also, what about the left wrist? Is it collapsing? Or is the violin supported properly and is the violin just sitting like it's caught in the branch of a tree? So this is the kind of stuff that you can think about when you're practicing slowly. And of course, you always want to listen. Every note you play is your chance to make the most beautiful note you've ever played. So I'm going to count in, and I'm going to breathe in on the 4th beat. I'm not going to say the 4th beat aloud. I'm going to breathe in so that I'm ready to start on the 1st beat. I'm going to start on a down bow. 1, 2, 3. So you might have noticed a couple things about that. First of all, I used whole bows. I tried to keep my bow in the same point on the string all the way through. And I left my 2nd finger down while playing the open A. This is something that's very important for the development of your hand. Ooh, that's not in tune. Now this is very difficult when you're beginning because sometimes the back of your finger is going to touch the open string. And you're going to hear a whistle. Now, if you hear this kind of a whistle, that means the back of your finger is actually touching the A string, so you have to make sure that you roll it out of the way. So you'll also notice that my fingernail is very upright. The nails need to be short. If the nails are long, you will not be able to play correctly. They must be short, and they must be very much on the edge, sometimes rolling over quite a bit. If I go on the other side, you can see a little better. Notice I have a little gap between my fingers. And if I play the 2 notes together, it sounds okay. And I can check that I have a ring. It might not ring as well if you have your 2nd finger down, so you can lift it. And I get more ring because now the D is not closed by my finger. And they should sound sweet when played together, unless you're crushing with the bow. So if you hear that kind of sound, it means the bow is pushing too much into the string. Always think very horizontal and be aware of the hair on the string. Feel it through your index finger. The violin likes a light, fast bow. If you're using a small amount of bow, we get a choked sound. Very light and fast. And think half bows if you're not comfortable using a full bow yet. Now we're going to play the arpeggios slowly a few more times. So, did your second finger stay down? Did your third finger ring? Was the A free and clear? So that means if your second finger's in tune on the way up, it'll be in tune on the way down. If I can play it in tune. This is crucial for developing a sense of the relationship between the second and third finger. Okay, I'm going to do it a few more times, no more commentary. 1, 2, 3. One, two, three. Did you scratch? Did you keep your second finger down? Was your wrist straight? Did you like what you heard? Did you get the number of beats right? There's a lot to keep track of, and that's why slow practice is so important. When you can do all these things without worrying about it too much, without having to think about every little thing, then you're ready to go a little bit faster. Here are a few more slow ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now what we're going to do is we're going to play the A major arpeggio, which is exactly the same as the D major arpeggio, but we're going to start one string up. So we're going to start on open A, second finger, open E, third finger, back down, second finger. So all the same things apply. Keep that second finger down and make sure that you're letting your elbow rock to balance your hand, and that the back of your finger is not touching the back of the E string, and that you're not squeaking, and that you're not scratching. That means your bow's too heavy. Light like a feather always. The violin doesn't need very much help from us. In fact, we can really cause a problem. We want the violin to be allowed to breathe. It requires a very light touch. So keep listening to your sound. 1, 2, 3. One, two, we're going to do is we're going to do the first octave of the G major arpeggio. And don't worry if you don't know what that means. I'm going to explain it in a different video about the G major arpeggio. But for now, same pattern, starting on the G string. And we're still going to have a ringing third finger always. Ringing third finger G on the D string. 1, 2, 3. I cheated that time. I moved my second finger because I could hear that I was a little bit sharp. Sharp is when your finger is too close to the bridge, and flat is when your finger is too close to the pegs. So higher and lower. So if you want a note to go higher, it goes sharp, goes towards the bridge. If you want it to go lower, we flatten it and it goes towards the pegs. My B was too high, so I changed it on the way down, which you'll be able to do as long as you practice and listen very carefully, and you'll start to get a bit of strength to move this way. Here we go, G major again. 1, 2, 3. Now, maybe you're having a bit of trouble with those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another video and I'm going to break it down into just pairs of notes so we can practice dropping the fingers. Well done.